Kinda makes me sad to think poor Cassian Andor and Jyn Erso had to die in a 2-hour, 13-minute movie to get the Death Star plans, when Kyle Katarn got it in like fucking 20 minutes. Yes, that's right, Dark Forces Remaster has been released by Night Dive Studios. That's the same studio that done remasters of all the Turok games. And let me tell you, it is pretty solid. Now keep in mind, this is an FPS from 1995. So if you're expecting Call of Duty or something like that, you're not going to get it. This is old school FPS at its best. I actually played this back in the day. My uncle worked at a computer factory and got a copy, and it was pretty kick-ass. It was like magic, because up until then I had played the likes of Doom, and what the guys done at LucasArts really upped the ante. They added certain elements that we see now as the standard. Verticality, which Doom didn't have until I think Doom 64. They also had a more in-depth puzzle system where rather than just going from room to room killing bad guys and hunting keys, you had to solve puzzles in order to navigate the levels. In Star Wars Dark Forces, you play Kyle Katarn. Yes, before Cal Kestis and Starkiller, there was Kyle Katarn, and the character would continue on in other games like Mysteries of the Sith and Jedi Knight. As much as I love those games, I think they ruined Kyle Katarn by turning him into a Jedi. You see, the cool thing about Kyle was he was just a mercenary, a former Imperial officer who had become disenfranchised with the Empire and decided to head out on his own. Sure, his sympathies leaned a lot more towards the rebellion, but he never saw himself as this leader or messiah figure, which I really enjoyed with the character. Plus, in the original games, he was an absolute brick shit house of a unit. I mean, this is Alan Richardson levels of big. I just like the idea of this Schwarzenegger-esque rebel going into Imperial facilities and killing stormtroopers like it's the police station sequence in the Terminator. Speaking of Terminator, one of the things Kyle has to take out is the Dark Trooper project. Yes, before The Mandalorian, the Dark Troopers actually existed in Star Wars Expanded Universe media. Essentially, Kyle learns from Crix Madine that the Empire putting together cybernetic stormtroopers with enhanced abilities, and it's up to Kyle to stop them. This sees the player traverse 14 different levels, ranging from Imperial outposts to alien spaceports. And yeah, some of them are really cool, some of them not so much. The third being the one I hated the most, where you literally have to wade through shit to find an Imperial officer. And my favourite being the vertical space city of Nar Shaddaa, which for the time looked absolutely remarkable and to a point still holds up today. Kyle also gets a number of weapons ranging from the classic Stormtrooper rifle to thermal detonators, and which, regardless you use, seem to have the same effectiveness. No one weapon is better than the other. It's more a case of picking the right tool for the job. Enemies wise, the game is rather sparse. You obviously fight stormtroopers and other Imperials, but you do encounter other alien bounty hunters such as Trandoshans. You also fight a number of boss enemies throughout the game, ranging from the Dark Troopers in different stages of construction to a Kree Dragon. That's the same skeleton that C-3PO and R2-D2 passed by in the first Star Wars movie, and the legendary bounty hunter himself, Boba Fett. These boss encounters aren't super difficult in themselves. Circle strafing is the order of the day, and if you just keep on spamming them and hit locking them, you will easily defeat any boss this game throws at you. The downsides to this title is it is an almost 30-year-old game. As I said before, it came out in 1995, so do not expect Half-Life, do not expect Far Cry, don't expect this game to hold your hand, because exploration is key to getting through the level. There's no on-screen prompts or arrows pointing the direction that you need to go. You have to do the legwork yourself, and I don't mind that. I'm used to those kind of shooters. I grew up with the likes of Wolfenstein and Doom, so I appreciate this old school feel of a shooter, but I think for modern gamers, this may not be their cup of tea. Replayability wise, there isn't much going on here unless you're an old school boomer shooter fan or Star Wars fan, which I am. Again, Night Dive remastered this game. It looks magnificent, but there's no modern additions such as multiplayer or an extra DLC campaign. This game doesn't really have that much incentive to return to it too often. There is an early demo version of the game called Avenger and a bunch of behind the scenes artwork and production notes, but again, this is just an old school FPS shooter and you're not going to get the likes of Call of Duty with this title. So with all that said, should you pick up Dark Forces? Well, again, it depends on two things. Are you a Star Wars fan? And are you a fan of old school boomer shooters? Then I would say yes. If you are exclusively a modern gamer who only plays the likes of Call of Duty and Battlefield, then maybe give this one a miss, but do show it some appreciation because Dark Forces walked so that future FPS games could run. I'm really happy with what Night Dive done here and I'm excited to see what they do in the future. I'm hoping we see maybe a remaster of either Alien Resurrection or Alien Trilogy, but the games I'd love to see Night Dive do remasters of would be Terminator Skynet and Skynet's Revenge. Those two don't get near enough love as they should. So guys, have you played the remaster of Dark Forces, or indeed have you played the original Dark Forces? Let me know what you thought of this game in the comments below, and yeah, have a good one, take care, bye now.